The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users, on demand on iTunes and on YouTube, and on my site, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you are invited to place your comments, whether you agree with yours truly or not. And thanks to our friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we're syndicated across the United States into 12 million additional households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. Well, I've got a very interesting book and a very interesting editor of this book to talk to you about. I'm almost afraid to pick the book up because it is over 550 pages. It's hardcover. It's heavy, and the desk here in the Paltalk studio is glass. I'm afraid I'm going to drop it. There it is. It's called Time, 85 Years of Great Writing, and it shows how some of the greatest events of our world have been chronicled over the past 85 years by Time magazine. Time magazine was founded in 1923. It has set the standard for journalism here in the United States. This is a celebration of its 85th anniversary. There are a selection here of the greatest articles. I don't know how our guests decided what goes in and what stays out, frankly. Here's really a history of the past, really 85 years, 8.5 decades. It chronicles Churchill, Gandhi, JFK, momentous events like Watergate, sadly, things like the 9/11 attacks and the Great Wars, scientific breakthroughs, artistic achievements, Lindbergh, chronicled with the vividness, flair, and authority that has distinguished the writing of Time magazine, edited by our guest Christopher Porterfield. He is a nearly 40-year Time veteran who was named executive editor in 1997. He has continued as a contributor to the magazine and for Time.com since he officially retired in 2003. But I can see, Christopher Porterfield, you have been busy ever since then as well. No tossing out the fishing pole for a guy like you. Welcome to News Talk Online on Paltalk.com.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate you having me.
Well, I appreciate you being here. You know, we're in a time of transition. I, of course, have not had time to read the entire book. But the thing is that this book does what Time magazine did so well, has done so well for so many years. It doesn't just chronicle hard news events, but it takes what's important, milestones in the arts and literature and theater and books and music. It talks about that as well, science and medicine, and of course the person or man of the year, which sometimes has been controversial. Time magazine has been a leader in journalism, in covering wars, but times are changing. The magazine is not as thick as it was before. People have recently been laid off. So I think it's important for us to look back at things such as the in-depth reporting that Time magazine provided us, like the first human transplant, the fall of Saigon, and Joe DiMaggio, and Babe Ruth, and Adolf Hitler, and also look forward and see who's going to carry that torch from here on out. Is this the epitaph of journalism as you've known it for 40 years, or is this a primer for what ought to be seen in the future, whether it's print, whether it's broadcast, or whether it's now the new media, the internet?
Well, I think it's we're going to see, Time's mission is not going to change. As you say, we're going to see a change in the medium. All the resources in most all publications now are flowing towards the internet. You really can't survive as a newspaper or magazine if you don't have a thriving website. So that's the direction everybody is going. I think Time will continue to do what it's always done, just in that electronic form in addition to print. And who knows, 10, 20, 30 years down the line, how publications will be delivered. Maybe there'll be some combination where we can choose on the electronic medium what we want and then print it out and maybe even bind it together ourselves so that we have our own sort of self-chosen publication to carry around.
But the great publications like Time Magazine, the New York Times, the great broadcast news outlets like CBS, Christopher Porterfield, had almost seemingly an unlimited budget, a voracious appetite for gathering the news, and not just reporting the facts, but Time Magazine and Newsweek and other weekly magazines did a wonderful job of peeling back the layers and looking at the inside of what was going on, the stories behind the stories, the anecdotes that bring the individuals and the events alive to the reader. But now the resources aren't there as they were before.
Well, certainly the economics of the business are a little tough right now, and as you say, the magazine's a little thinner than it used to be. But the ability to do what you just described so well, which is to take events and the flow of information and put it into a coherent shape, give it some perspective and depth and maybe a fresh angle, is just as important now as it ever was, and maybe more so, because the readers of Time have been bombarded daily and through the week with material from the internet and from 24-hour cable and so forth. So it's very important that Time come along and put it all in a comprehensive package and pull it all together so that it makes some sense. And you can do that on the internet, and you can do it in print, and you can do it in whatever other medium may get invented as we go along.
Well, Christopher Porterfield, you've been, I don't want to reveal your age, but you've been around for almost half of